liked the Friends reunion.
Okay. But your
fun.
level of frustration on the previous episode
Was high.
it was really high.
But let me say this. I liked all the stuff that involved the Friends. Anybody else that was involved completely could have done without it.
Okay.
I did like the montage of people from around the world.
You did like that.
I liked way more than James Corden. He was completely unnecessary. I felt like I was watching a late night show. I felt like I was watching the James Corden late night TV show, which was the point. I got that.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we're going to do an interview, ask people different questions. Yeah. It's going to be like a late night show. I got that. Okay. I understand why they did it. Still didn't like it. When they were sitting around talking, reminiscing, having fun, reenacting scenes, reading scripts, you could have done that for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You really could have.
I agree.
There was no need for James Corden.
I agree.
There was no need for any of that. I understand why they did it, but you could have done 2 hours of them rereading scenes, bringing in guest stars.
Absolutely.
You could have done 2 hours of that, and that would have been so cool.
Yeah.
And the parts that were so cool. They were fun. They were exciting. I even liked talking to the creators. I thought that was a really cool thing because people forget about that.
Right.
People forget somebody came up with an idea for
an integral part of
and wrote a script.
Yep.
And I liked when they're like, this is how we casted everybody.
Yeah, that was cool
because people don't see that, nor do they care about that.
Yeah.
Until they see something like that. So people can see a side of the film industry that's like, oh, so this person, there was actually 100 of that person before there was that one that we know today.
Which is a little cool.
And I like that.
Inside baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And it's nice.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it, but the stuff I was frustrated about, I didn't need to see David Beckham.
But it didn't anger you.
It didn't anger me. No, so I wasn't like, why is you up there?
The way they presented it wasn't like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I hate this.
No.
You were just like, all right,
I didn't need it. And David Beckham was up there, 30 seconds?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't need 30 seconds of David Beckham.
Your little Justin Bieber rant, he was up there for 5 seconds.
For 5 seconds.
Yeah, he was up there. And, and no one even asked him a question.
Yeah, so I'm glad he didn't talk.
You were you were hot.
I have nothing against Jay Biebs. Great guy. David Beckham, didn't need to see him on any of the other. I just didn't.
And do you care what David Beckham thinks about Friends?
No, I don't give a shit what David Beckham thinks about Friends.
All right.
I really don't. But like I said, I did like the montage of people from around the world.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, cool. It did reach a wide variety of people. But
it's reached the world, yeah.
You know, I'll say something here before we end this segment about Friends. But I liked the reunion.
All right. Okay, so out of 10, what do you give the Friends reunion?
It's an 8. It's an 8.
You give it an 8. Yeah. That's actually a lot higher than I thought you were going to give it.
Because I enjoyed it. It made me feel good.
Holy cow!
It made me feel really good.
All
right.
I
liked it, and I had a good time, and it made me remember why I liked the show.
Okay. All right.
It made me remember why I liked the show, growing up.
All right.
I'm currently in the middle of rewatching it. That's a different conversation.
You're in the middle of rewatching Friends?
Yeah,
right now?
And I started it 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But Friends is the ultimate background show.
Dang,
Friends is the ultimate show to play in the background
while you're cooking or cleaning.
Cooking. Yeah. And that's what I've had it on. I've had it cooking dinner, eating dinner. That's been the main thing.
All right.
But the opinions have definitely changed now that I'm older. Because I started watching Friends as a little guy.
We could do a Friends throwback review.
Yeah, no one wants to know what I think about Friends now.
Interesting. I do. I want to.
Yeah,
I'm curious to feel. I'm curious.
It's an off-camera thing.
All right.
Maybe.
Okay, so I feel like I got a gist of how you feel about this show. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I was so angry at this stupid thing that they did with the Friends reunion. They should have just left it alone.
Oh, not showed it at all?
And not even even did it at all.
Flip-flop.
I loved the script reading.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
None of these friends, there's probably a couple of friends, but the majority of these friends have no business on being on television anymore. They're not for it anymore at all.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They're not it's cool to interview them, and that's great. but then you sit them down to act and play a game. First of all, I don't care that you're playing a game.
Yeah.
And if you play the game, fine, then finish the game. And they just like left us hanging on the game and didn't do anything with Joey's stupid hand twin. And I'm like, I like that guy. I think he's a funny actor.
He's done a lot of other stuff.
He's done a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. They got him back. I was like, hey, that's cool.
For 2 seconds.
For 2 seconds.
That was frustrating.
Yeah.
That was frustrating.
But I'm like, they don't need, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late. Mm-hmm. And everybody wanted a Friends miniseries. And I'm watching this Friends reunion. And I'm like, oh, now I know why. And we talked about like I was telling you.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
I was telling you like, oh, if they're in a boardroom, like why wouldn't you come up with that idea, right? Like it makes sense to have the Friends miniseries idea. Why didn't they do that? And there's a lot that we don't know and blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you right now, the reason they didn't do the Friends miniseries is because they can't. They sat down with these actors and they were like, oh God. Oh God. No. We can't show them.
Yeah.
For 8, they can't act anymore. No, it would be a garbage can on fire.
Yeah.
And that is all I felt when I was watching this thing. And I appreciated a lot of what they gave us because it is fun to see how they are now and the round table and having them get onto the set for the first time in a long time. That was awesome.
Like it started off good.
Started off so strong.
So you were going high.
I was like, this is going to be good.
And then.
But I honestly could have, if they had shown them enter in and see the old set and just stayed there for 2 hours and eventually done a table read or two of a couple of scenes, talked about their time on the set and what it meant to them and the scenes they remember and reenacted those scenes. And then lights, goodbye, good night, see you later. No James Corden, no interviews with actors, no around the world stuff, nothing.
So cluttered. It was cluttered.
Yeah, it was just like, why are we even doing this if we're going to show us all this other nonsense? Okay. The whole point of the Friends reunion is a Friends reunion. That's all I care about. I wanted it to be like best friends in their house and like
having dinner.
Like a camera was the fly on the wall and we just wanted to know what they were up to.
Which that was the good stuff.
Yeah, that was the best part of the Friends reunion. But the other stuff, it was a joke.
So then what do you think it was of? Do you think it was a money grab? Is that
I
what
wonder,
we've kind of determined? Because that's what it sounded like.
I wonder because the James Corden stuff, it would have been no different if they just had the Friends on the late show or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Right? If they had just said, hey, we're going to take the Friends over there.
Also, yeah.
You know, and we're going to do a little 20-minute segment with the Friends to promote the Friends reunion.
Yeah.
It would have been the same thing.
Yeah.
He would have still had Justin Bieber come out in all the costumes and shit.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, because it's stupid. Because it's stupid.
But again, that wasn't the cast stuff. That was other stuff.
Right. It was the other stuff.
The Friends stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was, even that I wasn't excited for, but that was better than I was expecting.
And
I thought the table read stuff was going to be like dumb and like, but it was better than I was expecting. So when you saw the first trailer, what were your thoughts?
Well,
when you saw the trailer,
I told you I was bummed out. Even when I saw it, I was like, I'm bummed. That's not what I wanted at all. Yeah. But what I wanted, I now understand. What I wanted, I now understand why it didn't happen. Yeah. And if I'm a producer or some, pitch guy for WB or HBO Max now,
Warner Media Discovery,
Warner Brothers Discovery. If I work for HBO, I understand why they didn't do that. So what I don't understand is why someone didn't say, "Hey, that's the good stuff. Why don't we just do an hour and a half of that?"
Yeah.
And that makes me think it's a cash grab. I
always thought it was a cash grab.
The other famous people coming in and being involved, is I don't see how it's not.
Well, now it was a cash grab once I found out how much each of them made.
Yeah. It's like,
what? Come on, man.
Wasn't it $2.5 million?
Yeah.
$2.5 million. Yeah.
Nice. For what, a day's work? A couple days maybe? Not a lot of days.
Not a lot of days. Not a lot of effort, I think, would be required.
And people were slamming it pretty hard for a lot of stuff. Mostly the Matthew Perry stuff. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, the Matthew Perry stuff is sad because if what they say is true, then that's crappy, right? Yeah. So he had dental work and wasn't on drugs and blah, 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 blah. But
people were like wanting him to be on drugs. They're like,
drugs. Because he was on drugs before, right? He has a shady history. So everyone's like, yeah, that must be it. But if it's not, I feel bad for him. It was shitty timing, and that's unfortunate. And there's nothing you can do about it. But like the friends themselves, you're just like, yeah, like it was all kind of sad a little bit.
Like they're all old and
like it was all. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't look good, and but there's some stuff that it's like you look at them and you're like, something's different about you, right? Like
because I mean we left them
17 years ago.
We left them 17 years ago, and that was the last time we saw him. Yeah. So imagine going through and not seeing somebody for 17 years and seeing them again. You think it's gonna be old, and then
you're like, oh, and I'm not necessarily saying that the Botox stuff and all the plastic surgery stuff, whatever. It's I think that's kind of just whatever happens in Hollywood, and there's probably a lot. I mean, the people that look like they didn't get it was Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc definitely didn't, from what I could tell.
Yeah, and Lisa Kudrow didn't look like she had any work done.
Lisa Kudrow looks the best out of all of them.
I know.
She really does.
And the thing is, and you get this sense of like they all probably would have still looked good, right? Yeah. If they didn't do anything to their face. And and that's why you're kind of like, oh, that's unfortunate. But because you're like, I feel like you would have been beautiful if you had not done anything like that, right? But
gone through the process.
But I don't, it is what it is, and I'm not gonna bash them because they got plastic surgery or Botox or anything.
But it's just like it's so obvious.
Yeah, but you do. But so you got a sense of like they're back, but they're something's different.
They're not all here.
Yeah, and that was like so. I feel like that kind of also left it a little unsettling as you're watching them on a couch and you're like, they all look a little strange.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they look like people, like different versions of themselves, which is hard.
Like I said, they're newer and
I feel like that was gonna happen regardless. But
there's a lot of actors going through that now.
Yeah.
When I rewatch older stuff, so when I see something, I'm like, oh, wow, they look great. I was like, oh, this is from 1998. Never mind. Sorry. Jesus.
But I enjoyed the stuff with just the friends. Yeah. Yes. And I think it makes sense to bring back people like Reese Witherspoon to talk to them about their experience. They brought back Gunther, but that was kind of a strange situation too. It just doesn't seem like it was executed very well.
I feel it was rushed.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like
it was supposed to be a year ago and like all this stuff.
Yeah, and that's true. And maybe they canned the first idea, but
I just didn't. Like I said, I just wanted the friend stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And that's what I enjoyed so much.
And the friend stuff, I would give an 8 out of 10 for sure. But all of it together, the special as a whole.
I don't plan on like ever watching it.
No, never, never. The special as a whole, I would go like a 5.
Okay.
As a whole.
Yeah, maybe I should reconsider that.
And that's only because the stuff that I really did not enjoy was lifted up by the stuff that I really enjoyed, right? And that averages out to a 5.
Yeah.
That's how that is working out for me for the Friends reunion. Okay, I'm so bummed.
I mean, I never wanted it.
Yeah.
I never asked for this.